Okay, I'm finally making this video. I lost 30 pounds this year. I have kept it off. I mentioned to people that I was gonna make this video and I just felt like YouTube was the best place to do it. This is how I lost 30 pounds many different times. I've lost weight doing keto, I've lost weight doing carnivore, I've lost weight training. I did a bodybuilding competition like 8 years ago. I have lost weight so many different ways, and this has been the most sustainable way that I have been able to lose weight and keep it off. And I did not enter a gym. I still ate bread. I didn't cut anything out of my diet. I barely left the house, to be honest, to be completely honest. I didn't go to a gym, I didn't work out, I didn't work out to YouTube videos, I didn't go to yoga classes, I didn't do any exercise. Not that I don't think you should, I totally think that you should do exercise. The form of exercise that I did was walking, so I'll get into that. This is obviously a very vulnerable video for me to make because I want to show my before and after. I want to talk about my weight, the numbers on the scale, and that is it's a vulnerable thing to share, but I don't know why I was born the way I was born, because I am just such an open person. I watch so many videos from other people talking about their weight loss journey, sharing how they did it, tips. So I want to do the same for you. This is going to be a little bit of tough love as well. It's going to be a mixture of tough love, things that I felt like kept me overweight. So where should I start? I started at the beginning of this year around, I think I was like 173 pounds. I actually have it in my notes. I was 171.8 pounds, okay? The lowest weight I ever got to was 144.2. So I think I was around 28 pounds that I lost. Here is my before and after. So you can see. So here are some of the things that I did to help me lose the weight. I have everything written down. These are things that I think were really keeping me overweight. I want to share a little bit about like a background on my like journey with weight loss and with overeating and food. I have never had an amazing relationship with food. I feel like I always overeat. Even if I'm not really hungry, I'll still finish my plate. I feel like a lot of that, I don't know why, but I have this like scarcity mentality when it comes to food. Either I'm not gonna get enough, or it's not gonna taste as good the next day, or if I don't finish my plate, I won't have it again. I don't know, like just like scarcity around food. That's the only way I can explain it. I don't even know if scarcity is the right word. And my weight has always gone like this, just always fluctuated. I've just been in and out of control when it comes to food, not moving my body, overeating consistently. I know when I'm in like a spiral season. I used to wait for the first of the month, I'd be like, okay, the first of the month, this is when I'm gonna like go 110%, or I would wait till Monday, or if I screwed up, like if I had a meal that was not, if I ate something bad, I'm starting again tomorrow, and I would just like sabotage the rest of the day. The reason I'm sharing this is because these are some of like the deep things that I have been able to change, which has allowed me to keep the weight off this time around, which is a big deal for me. Like I used to eat in private, or I would go and get like some nostalgic food from my childhood at the grocery store and then eat it when my husband wasn't home. Like these are things that I used to do that I haven't done in a really long time, and haven't even had the urge to do them in a really long time. My number one trigger for overeating is, there's two things actually. Procrastination and overstimulation. So when I'm overstimulated or I'm procrastinating a task, it's mostly overstimulation though. Like I'll give you an example. If I'm standing in my kitchen and I'm looking at a pile of dishes, but I also have all of these other things on my list that I need to do. I need to figure out what we're eating for dinner. I've got work things I need to do. I will eat to avoid those feelings. I will eat to avoid the feeling of overstimulation, or I will eat to like put off those things on my to-do list. So I noticed that about myself. That's like a big thing that has changed for me, is just recognizing that I clearly go to food when I'm overstimulated or when I'm overwhelmed or have a lot to do that I'm trying to put off. While you're watching this video, maybe you can reflect and think about things within yourself that you think are keeping you from the healthiest version of yourself. Also, this is just advice. I am just someone who has lost almost 30 pounds and has kept it off. I'm just sharing that openly. Take from it what you want. I'm just sharing my honest experience. So I just told you guys the weight that I started at and then what I finished at, and I showed you my before and after. Here's the things that I think kept me overweight and that I had to let go. So number one is believing myths like your body holds on to fat or carbs make you fat. This is such a big one. I feel I just really believed that, like, you know what, have you guys ever heard the myth like if you don't eat, then your body's gonna like hold on to the next meal that you eat, or like your body like holds on to fat. Even saying it out loud is so funny and ridiculous. I kind of want to actually, okay, I have this long list here, but I sort of want to like cut to the chase. How I lost weight, I'm gonna read all these things, but how I lost weight is I no longer had an imbalance of what I was eating versus the movement that I was doing. There was no longer an imbalance between moving and eating. I was getting 10K steps a day and I was eating within my caloric deficit. That at the simplest, like you don't even have to watch this whole video. That's how I lost weight. I was moving more and I was eating less in a caloric deficit for my age, my height, and my weight, okay? So step one is actually Googling a free TDEE calculator, which is gonna give you, it's basically gonna give you your how many calories do you burn at rest, and it'll help you figure out how many calories you need to be in a deficit from that point at rest, okay? Let's go. I'm not moving my body. I literally was like completely stagnant. I was probably getting like 3,000 steps a day, if that. When you up that to 10,000, I was getting like 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day. I don't think that's a magic number, by the way. I just think it's, you can double what you're doing now. So if you're getting 3,000 steps, try doing 6,000. If you're getting 5,000, try doing 10,000. It's the easiest way to increase your output of energy. Number three is believing that I was the exception to the rule. I used to think that I would never be able to lose weight. Like I was the exception. It was my genetics. I'll never be skinny. I can't lose weight easily. My body is just, that's just the way it is. And when I finally released that and realized that really skinny girls, or like girls that are super fit, they're just more disciplined and they don't eat as much as me and they move more than I do. And that was just the reality. It wasn't like this like specialness that they had. And once I was able to kind of remove that from my mind and stop making me feel like such an outlier, I was able to lose weight because I was no longer making excuses for myself, constantly thinking like I had some specialness that I couldn't lose weight, or it was hard for me to lose weight, or it was harder than everybody else. It was like, no, Allie, you're putting more in your mouth than other people are, and you're not moving. So obviously I just find it funny that I never attributed my, I don't know, I just think it's kind of funny sometimes, like the excuses that we make. Having a scarcity mindset with food, which I already touched on, so I really like noticed that. Here's a really interesting thing that I started doing. Life is obviously about your habits and the habits that we have in our lives, and the good habits and the bad habits. So I just told you that I had a habit of finishing everything on my plate even if I wasn't hungry. So I actually had to introduce a new habit, which was not finishing my plate. And that might sound easy, but for me, it's actually really hard. So I had to introduce that habit into my life, not finishing my plate. I just had to practice that. I had to practice looking at my plate and having leftovers and being okay with that and not finishing it. So that was a new habit that I introduced into my life. An all or nothing approach. So I sort of let go of that like mentality that it was all or nothing, like start on Monday, start on the first of the month. I actually started my weight loss journey purposely on a Wednesday, a random Wednesday in the middle of a month, which doesn't sound hard, but when you're like just so fixated on how you used to be. Yeah, anyways, I started randomly. So you can start right now. You could literally start right now, even if you screwed up already today, if you had whatever, a bad meal. I challenged myself. I was like, I'm gonna start on the most random day, time, moment. I'm eliminating that all or nothing approach. Not knowing or understanding the numbers. I did weigh my food in the beginning, just to see what the calories were. When I did my bodybuilding competition, I used to weigh every single piece of food that went into my mouth. So I already had a really good understanding of calories. I didn't really weigh my food for a long period of time. I sort of just did it to kind of remind myself. I do think that you should weigh your, I don't think you need to weigh your food, but I do think you need to know what the calories of what you're eating. Like I do think that there needs to be some awareness there. I think that people underestimate how much they eat, and I think they underestimate how easy it is to stay in maintenance off of one meal. You know how people always say like one meal isn't gonna ruin your progress? They're 100% right. One meal is not going to ruin your progress. However, that one meal may be enough calories to keep you in maintenance for that entire week. So let's think of it this way. It takes 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat. So 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories to gain 1 pound of fat. over your maintenance calories. So over what you are able to eat just like sitting here. If I just sat on this bed and like didn't do anything, I burn a certain amount of calories a day, like energy. So it's over that, okay? And again, that's where you have to go to the TDEE calculator to figure out what yours is based on your age, your height, and your weight. So knowing that is really helpful. So knowing the numbers was important for me. Understanding the numbers and like how much I was eating versus how much I was moving and the scale. So I also weighed myself every single morning. Again, I know that for some people, they don't want to do that. Do what's best for you. This is what was best for me because I needed to like track something. I needed to see, okay, this is how it fluctuates when I'm on my cycle. This is how my weight fluctuates after I eat like a heavy carb meal. But also knowing the numbers helped me because I would be in a calorie deficit and I would eat French fries for dinner with a hamburger and the scale would go down the next morning, you guys. I remember being so shocked eating a hamburger and fries this one night and then losing, I think the scale went down 2 pounds. Obviously it didn't go down 2 pounds overnight. It was because I had been in a deficit for a while. But I remember there was a time when I believed that that burger and fries that I had was over for me. Like my weight loss journey was over and it ruined everything, and that's just not the case. Like at the end of the day, it is calories in, calories out, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's just true. It doesn't matter what you eat, it just matters how much you eat. Like I'm telling you guys, I have lost weight, I told you, so many different ways, and just it kind of accepting science has just accepting that like that simple truth of your caloric intake versus your movement and like what you do every single day. I don't know, it's just kind of like set me free, to be completely honest, because I just felt like I could eat whatever I wanted. It was just in moderation. Not being consistent enough. Yeah, there will be times when the scale doesn't move, and actually what's happening is the fat loss that you're experiencing. So if you have been in a caloric deficit, sometimes the scale will go up because your body fills those fat cells with water, and then that's why you randomly look at the scale and you're like, oh my god, I lost 3 pounds. It's because all of that water has now been expelled and you've lost that fat. But it'll like fill your cells up with water, so the scale goes up, but it's not fat, and then all of a sudden you see the scale go down and you're like, oh my god, like how is that possible? Well, that's how. Not getting enough protein at breakfast, so I feel just starting your day with super high protein breakfast really helped me. I noticed I was just like a lot more full. I could go longer without eating. Thinking it was toxic to skip a meal if I wasn't hungry. This is probably my favorite one. I cannot tell you how much it set me free to hear it's okay to not eat lunch. It's so true. Why, like if I'm not hungry, why am I eating at 12 o'clock? Truly. I think sometimes there's this balance of listening to your body, and I just sort of let myself randomly skip meals. Like sometimes I would skip dinner if I was just not hungry. I didn't force it just because it was 5 o'clock. I just didn't eat. And I don't know, even saying that out loud sounds toxic, but it's like I must have gotten my caloric intake that maybe I ate more in the morning, maybe I had a really heavy lunch, maybe I wasn't really active that day. I eat really lightly around my period. I don't, like when I get my cycle, I actually fast the very first day of my cycle to detox, and because I usually get period cramps, so I find that that really helps me with my period cramp. So yeah, I just feel like it's okay. Like if you skip a meal, you're good, you're not gonna die. I already kind of said this, but having a daily energy imbalance and still overeating anyways, just overeating when you're not hungry, overeating in general, thinking I couldn't eat certain foods because they make you fat, which kind of was like number one. I will say, I would watch my skinny girlfriends, my naturally skinny girlfriends, okay? And I remember I would just be so amazed watching them eat a hamburger or pizza or pasta whenever we were together. But the one thing I never took into consideration is they never finished a meal, ever. If we went out and got sandwiches, if we got subs, if we got whatever, it was always half. And I always used to over fixate on the fact that they could eat it and not get fat, and I ate it and I got fat, and that's actually not the case. It's that I ate the whole thing and they had half. Yeah, so do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, I hope this is helping you, because I'm trying to tell you like the honest truth. I really am. I'm trying to be so transparent. I don't want to like offend anyone, but I'm just trying to kind of like, it is sort of tough love. I'm talking to myself, okay? I'm not talking, you know, whatever's going on with you. Hopefully this helps. I'm just like, I lost 30 pounds. this is how I did it. I didn't finish every single meal I ate. I left some food on the plate, or maybe I ate the whole thing if I was really hungry. It's like actually recognizing your own hunger cues and recognizing if you're actually hungry or not, or if you're just eating, you know that feeling when you overeat and your stomach hurts and you're just like, why did I do this to myself? It's stopping before that happens so you don't feel sick. Not recognizing my triggers, which I already told you, overstimulation and procrastination. 14 is restriction, because I would restrict so heavily on past just diets and things that I did. Like I told you guys, I did keto, I did carnivore, I did a bodybuilding competition. A lot of those things were really restrictive. And so I didn't restrict. I ate whatever I wanted. I just like ate in moderation. Truly, truly, truly. Thinking hunger was an emergency. I love this one. Yeah, hunger is not an emergency. You're good. You're not in the middle of the Sahara Desert with no food or water. You're good. You're not gonna die. Hunger is not an emergency. I don't know, that one just kind of like made me laugh because it's so true. I'm good. I've got enough on me to sustain me. This is not an emergency. One meal isn't going to ruin all your progress. I mentioned this before. Just be very conscious that it's not going to ruin all your progress. So don't stop, keep going. I just got really honest with myself. If I did have a really big meal that I knew was like calorically dense, I would just either maybe like walk more that night or have a tea. Maybe I don't know, was just so conscious that numbers don't lie. And I just really took that into consideration throughout this journey. I don't know, I feel like sometimes it's hard to talk about. I don't know, I think people get triggered by that or something, but I don't know. You know how people always say, like, get back on track, don't skip breakfast, things like that. If I really overate, I would have a very light breakfast. I would have a very light lunch. I would go based on like how I was feeling. I wasn't really hungry because I had such a massive meal the night before, or I woke up super full. So that's what I'm kind of trying to say, like, be conscious of those things. Okay, yeah, okay, this is a good one. Not realizing that the maintenance of keeping weight off is lifelong. I used to think that there was kind of like end to all of this, an ending point where I wouldn't have to do any of these things anymore. And what actually kind of set me free in a lot of ways was that this is an ongoing journey. This is actually like a day-to-day thing. And the really skinny people that were like people who have the bodies that we admire, they are disciplined every single day. That's how it works. They're moving more and eating less, or they're eating in balance, or they're moving in balance like every single day. And that weirdly set me free, because I think I was always looking for like an end point when I would be naturally thin and I would just like naturally exist in the world at like a small weight. Knowing that it's also hard for other people and that day in and day out, I wasn't seeking like an escape, or I wasn't seeking this is the final day, or you know when you're like, I'm gonna lose this amount of weight and by this date, and then everything kind of goes to shit after that date. Now knowing that this is just like a day in, day out thing also really set me free. So hopefully that's helpful for you too. So I tracked everything in my phone. So I tracked all my weight in my phone every single day. I actually don't really weigh myself anymore right now. I'm kind of on like a break of thinking about this because I feel really good in myself. To be completely honest, I do still want to lose more weight. I'm finding it like hard to care. I'm finding it hard to care. I feel like my body's happy or comfortable, so I'm finding it a little bit hard to. Also too, like now I'm gonna have to go into a bigger calorie deficit, right? Like things are gonna have to get a little bit more extreme, and I don't know, I'm just comfortable right now. So yeah, this was a really good one. I used to, like I said, I have scarcity around food. I would finish my plate and I would be like, well, I don't want it to go to waste. And one of the best quotes I ever heard was, "Is your body the trash can?" And I was like, damn, that is an interesting realization. I eat the whole plate because I don't want the food to go to waste. So it goes into me. Am I the waste bin? That really hit me, and that was a big realization for me. Obviously, like, I compost my food. I save as much of it as I can for leftovers, give a lot of our scraps to our hens, but I think that's like a real thing that people struggle with, is that they like don't want their food on their plate to go to waste. So very valid. Being overweight is more effort than being thin, or being like, I feel like I'm gonna trigger so many people with this video, but I don't know, you guys know what I mean. But like being overweight, I'll put it this way. Being overweight for me is more effort than being in this healthy body. The insecurity I deal with every single day, having to feel a certain way in clothes, someone inviting me somewhere and me not wanting to go because I feel insecure in my body, jeans not zipping up, things like that, even feeling good in front of your partner. It's just, being overweight to me is more effort, because it's like seeps into your life in so many areas and you just feel insecure more often, which is really hard to feel insecure all the time and to be self-conscious of how you look. It sucks. So yeah, being overweight is definitely more effort than being, it like holds you hostage, honestly. Being overweight, I feel like held me hostage. This is a good one that helped me. I would ask myself the question, because a lot of this is like about portions, right? A lot of this is about like, you know, what are your portions like? So I would ask myself, I have a whole meal, I would ask myself, how would I feel if I had half? How would I feel if I had half the bagel? How would I feel if I had half of this portion or the half of this piece of cake? And 9 times out of 10, I feel so good when I have half. When I don't finish everything in one sitting, like I don't feel sluggish, I don't feel weighed down, I don't feel like I overate. So you can just ask yourself, like, how would I feel if I had half? And then you can go from there. And that helped me a lot for some reason, like asking myself that question, like how would I feel if I just left a little bit behind? And also a lot would come up for me too. Like sometimes I was like, oh, I would feel like I was wasting in the food, or I would feel, well, is it gonna taste as good tomorrow? Like I had to address all of those questions, and like that's how you get to those internal deep things, is you address those questions by asking those questions. Oh, this is a good one. You're seriously going to let that cookie have more control over you than you do. And that one really hit me, and like sometimes I would get emotional too, because I would be like, why does food have such an emotional hold on me? Or like, why do I feel like I give food so much control over my life? Sometimes it's as simple as looking at the cookie or like looking at the cake and just being like, you don't have control over me. So dorky, but it's true. Do you know like how sad, like a cookie, like why does it have more control over me? That's so crazy. I don't want to live like that. You just get to a point where you're so frustrated with yourself. Like truly, you think it's your age, it's this, it's that, it's your genetics. It's like, it's excuses. So much of the time it's just excuses. And I'm not saying it, guys, I'm not saying it's not hard. Are you kidding me? I have so many bad days, literally, the time. It's just, I don't know, it's just like recognizing how much control food actually had on me, facing it head on and just being, Allie, like this is something you need to deal with. You really want to grow and change as a person and make habits that are gonna actually stick, so that you don't have to face this again in 6 months like you always do. Then it's got to be deep healing and deep work. And then the last thing, something that really helped me also was just kind of, I knew that being overweight was holding me back in, it was holding me back in my career, it was holding me back in my life. I felt like I couldn't show up naturally in the world. I always wore oversized sweaters. I know I'm wearing like a cute oversized sweater right now, but I was wearing like big baggy sweaters. I was wearing sweatpants. You guys, I was wearing stuff to my family Christmas that looked like pajamas. Just shit that was just oversized, and I never put any effort into my appearance because I felt so ugly anyways. I just felt like nothing, it wasn't worth it, nothing looked good on me, who cares? So like, acknowledging how much it was holding me back in my life actually helped me propel forward and help me continue my journey, to remind myself. I wrote it down. I said, I picture how insecure I feel when I'm filming. I picture how much I want to excel in my life and how much this is holding me back. I don't want to feel uncomfortable anymore. I wrote all these things down. Like I have this all in my notepad. And then the last thing is all of this for food. All of this for food. All of these feelings, everything I've gone through, the up, the down, feeling insecure, all of it for food. Really? Really? Like that is how I felt. Like all of this for freaking food. Like truly, it's just like so insignificant. And yeah, it's just that, I don't know. There were just things that set me free this past year. I felt lighter. I felt I was learning new habits that I was able to actually take with me. I know it's not easy. Trust me. Like I actually have been putting off this video because I'm always scared that I'm gonna gain the weight back and then like I'm an imposter and I'm fat again or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, I think I got everything in. I know it's tough. It sucks. You know, I have a partner who has a 6-pack and has had a 6-pack from the moment I met him, and has never not had one. He has the best relationship with food. Never, he eats what he wants. Which is kind of interesting to be married to someone like that. You get a window into someone's life who, and I know, I get it, he's a guy, trust me, I get it, but there are still overweight men out there, okay? I just watch him, he doesn't overthink food. Like, we would be going to a restaurant and I would have already pre-picked my meal the night before, and I was like, what do you think you're gonna get tomorrow? And he's like, I haven't even thought about that. It's just not on his mind. Like, food is not on his mind. He like eats when he eats to when he's full and then stops if he's, it's interesting to have exposure to someone in my life where food does not control them. It doesn't play a role in their lives. I just want to say, I know that if you're watching this video, you're seeking maybe weight loss for yourself, and just have some grace on yourself, but also be really, really honest and transparent with yourself. I know my weaknesses. I know when I'm making excuses. I know when I'm being a baby. I know when I'm not. I just know. And I think it's having that self-reflection and having that honesty with yourself can help you move forward. So yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm glad I finally got around to making this video. I want to say thank you so much for all the support on my YouTube channel. I know this video is not my typical content, but I don't want to niche down too much. Like, I still want to be able to do things like this and for people to get to know me in different ways. I am a very open person. I don't have a lot to hide. I want to share things that I think will help people. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.